All right, let's get into it, because today we're talking about one of the biggest shifts happening in technology right now. We're moving way beyond AI that just talks to us and into this whole new world of AI agents that can actually do things. Completing complex, multi-step tasks pretty much all by themselves.
So let's dive in. To really get a handle on this, we've got to understand the massive shift that's happening in AI as we speak. This isn't just another software update. This is the next huge pivot in business, in technology, and really in how we all get work done. And this quote from Google Cloud, it just completely nails it. We're going from AI that can answer a question or maybe draft an email to these full-on agentic systems that act like autonomous workflows, capable of seeing a complex goal through from the very beginning to the very end.
But of course, there's a catch. Right now, the whole industry is buzzing about this big problem called the capability overhang. Basically, it's this huge and honestly growing gap between what these incredible AI models could be doing and what most companies have actually deployed them to do. The potential is just massive, but the reality? Well, it's lagging way, way behind. Which brings us right to the core question, doesn't it? How do we close that gap? How do we finally move from just playing around with AI to unlocking its true autonomous power? Well, it all starts with a really solid plan. See, the solution isn't just about building more cool but disconnected little projects. It's about having a structured blueprint, a real AI agent strategy. And it's built on 3 core pillars that have to work together. And here they are. These are the 3 pillars that turn a powerful AI model into a truly useful AI agent. First, you've got context, giving the agent the right information so it knows what's going on. Second, actions, giving it the tools and skills it needs to actually do stuff. And third, orchestration, which is all about managing how these agents work together on really complex, long-running goals. Getting these 3 right is absolutely everything.
Okay, so let's dig into that first pillar, context. We're going to see how giving an AI the right information is the absolute foundation for everything else it does. Seriously, an agent without context is basically just flying blind.
And here's the big challenge. An agent is only as good as the context you feed it. But if you think about it, most company data, everything from internal wikis to databases, it was never organized for an AI to easily understand. It's a huge data mess, really.
So, how do we fix this? Well, one really powerful idea is the personal context portfolio. Just think of it like an operating manual about you. It's specifically designed to solve what's been called the context repetition tax. You know that annoying feeling when you have to explain your role, your projects, and your preferences over and over again to every new AI you work with? This is the fix. Now, what's really brilliant here is how this is all broken down. It's not some giant, complicated document. It's a set of simple, modular markdown files, which are basically just plain text. You've got one for your roles, another for your projects, one for the tools you use, even one for your communication style. And together, they create this single, machine-readable source of truth that any AI agent can tap into and instantly understand. Okay, so now our agent has context. It knows who you are, what you're working on, but now it actually needs to be able to do things. And this brings us to the action layer, which is where we give our agents the tools and skills to get stuff done. A really core concept here is something called agent skills. Think of them as actionable playbooks. These aren't just simple prompts. They're structured, markdown-based folders with super clear instructions and resources that tell an agent exactly how to do a specific task, like generating a weekly report or analyzing customer feedback. They're like repeatable, shareable automation that your entire team can use.
And the way these skills are structured is all about clarity. You can see the trigger is called out as the most important part. And for good reason. This tells the agent precisely when to fire up this skill. And you have to be incredibly explicit about it. If the trigger is vague, this amazing skill you built just sits on the shelf. The body is also super important. It has to be a numbered list, not a big paragraph. Agents thrive on clear step-by-step instructions.
So, we've got context and we've got actions. This final pillar, orchestration, is all about managing complexity. How do you keep an agent on track for tasks that might take hours or maybe even days to finish?
This is where the idea of an agent harness comes into play. And I love this analogy. The AI model itself is the engine. It's got all the raw power. But the harness is the rest of the car. It's the entire structure around that engine. The prompts, the tools, the feedback loops, all the constraints that actually directs all that power and gets you where you're trying to go. Because without a good harness, things can go sideways fast. One really common way they fail is something called context anxiety. What happens is, as an agent works on a long task, its context window starts to fill up, and it can almost get nervous. It'll start rushing through the last steps and just declare the job done, even when it isn't, just to wrap things up.
So what's the fix for that? Well, one of the most powerful techniques is called adversarial evaluation. Instead of just having one agent do all the work, you actually create two. The first is the generator agent, which does the task. But the second is an evaluator agent, and its only job is to be a skeptic, to test the work, to poke holes in it, and to provide critical feedback.
In this example just perfectly illustrates the power of this idea. Anthropic actually tested this by having agents build a video game. The solo agent, it rushed, it approved its own sloppy work, and it produced a game that, well, didn't work. But the full harness, with a generator and an evaluator basically arguing over what done really means, actually produced a functional game. That creative tension between them is what drives quality. It's fascinating.
Okay, let's wrap this up by zooming out a bit. We've talked about context, actions, and orchestration. But what's the end game here? What's the ultimate goal of putting all these pieces together? So yeah, what does this all build towards? Why is it so critical to have a robust AI agent strategy, like right now?
Well, the goal isn't just about making you or me a little more productive. It's about building what people are starting to call the autonomous enterprise. This is a future where entire systems and workflows can function on their own, completely transforming how whole industries operate from the ground up.
And what does that future actually look like? Well, we're talking about recursive self-improvement, where AI agents are constantly running experiments to optimize systems, even while you sleep. It means scaling expertise at a level we can barely imagine. Instead of one human researcher, you could have a million AI agents all tackling the same problem. And maybe the most crucial takeaway here is that as the execution of work gets automated and becomes basically free, our value as humans shifts from doing the work to defining the work.
And this final thought is really the one to sit with. As these agents take on more and more of the how, our greatest contribution becomes defining the what and the why. Knowing what to build, what to measure, and what success truly looks like. That, right there, becomes the most valuable human skill in a world powered by AI agents.